Dun, 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 dun.
This sounds very interesting. Now, I'm a huge Agatha Christie fan, even though, again, I've not experienced, reading a lot of her stories, but I've seen many of the adaptations on her work. Of course, the first introduction I had to Agatha Christie was through the Doctor Who episode from season 4 that centered around her character in the past and had a story that was similar, I guess, in terms of how her mysteries are articulated. But I've definitely come to respect a lot of her work, at least in the film adaptation space. Notably, some of you might be, of course, most familiar with Murder on the Orient Express and that franchise of Kenneth Branagh. And that film was, I think the mystery was a bit, soft, I think, in the final implications, but the overall film was just a beauty to watch. And I'm so excited for Death on the Nile whenever that comes out. I forget the exact release date of what's been stated. Who knows if that'll get delayed or not at this point. Everything's in a flux period. But then, of course, some of you might think of like Amazon. They've got the Pale Horse production. And I'm sure there's a couple other adaptations of her work in their markets. This sounds interesting. Now, this project, I believe, I'm kind of confused on the release date here because I guess maybe it's a matter of distribution. Acorn TV, which is affiliated with a lot of British content for what I've seen. They're another streaming service out there. They're featuring this on their platform. In fact, they're the ones who released this trailer that I'm about to look at today. But this is, I believe, a 1982 made production. So this feels classic in a couple regards, actually. I'm very curious because, again, I love mystery stories and I want to expose myself to more of Agatha Christie's work. And this does sound very interesting. As the poster says, as I said, this is called the Agatha Christie Hour. And this features 10 beloved stories from the Queen of Crime. Kind of an interesting idea. Let's see how well it materializes, of course, with the overall trailer. But this is the synopsis first, which is kind of a similar thing. This is according to IMDb. A collection of 10-hour-long dramas based on short stories by Agatha Christie. Short stories are very interesting. I don't know. There's how many short stories you can read these days. I don't know where I'd stand in terms of like short stories versus novels. But, there's a lot of creative short stories. But seeing like hour-long depictions or adaptations of them, that might be interesting, especially when they're mystery focused. And because I believe they come from an older time period. I do love classical stuff. This does definitely sound like an ultimate appeal to me. Let's go ahead and take a look and see what Acorn TV has to offer in this regard, even though maybe it wasn't made by them. Because they're a newest service, they're just the ones distributing it, and they've advertised the trailer on their platform, and I have not seen it yet. So it's very much a first look for me, even if it is an older picture. We're going to watch this first, and we'll talk about it more in my condensed review segment while I was watching the video together. Okay, here we go. Let's take a look.
What is spirit? What is life?
This definitely feels like it's an older picture.
What do you want? Can't you see we're busy?
The Queen of Crime. It's a pretty image.
To understand.
No one move!
No one move!
Your enthusiasm overwhelms me.
It's romantic. It's an adventure.
Oh, you lovely man.
Feels like an older world.
This is splendid.
Which it is literally, but from Brit, yeah, as I told you, Acorn TV. Again, like I said, I'm not on their platform just yet. I have looked at some of their content, but I was familiar with them having a lot of British content. So for Britain and beyond makes sense. I guess maybe that means we can feature films and just shows from other countries. Okay, I guess they're keeping their options open. Although the Brits do have some really good content. So that look like, well, you have a high achievement there already. But this does look interesting. Like I said, it feels like it's from a much older time in history. Just the classic feel alone. It's great, especially in the modern age where, for all we have, it's weird for me to say, because it's kind of like, while I live in the generation that I do and the world that I do and just the modern era, I'm sort of disassociated. I guess maybe by, I don't know. I've always been a bit disassociated from like mainstream culture, other than just like looking at stuff of what happens, in the film space, maybe some of our entertainment ventures. But like just in my own experiences and what I personally venture into, I've just, not that I'm like, not to say like I'm out of touch and like willfully and snooty about it. No, I just mean just personally based on who I am. I've just kind of, it's like the modern age and me don't mesh. And it's sort of like, it's because that's so weird probably some of you, but I feel just kind of like I'm living in a different world in a way. But classic films for me, you know, it's from an older time now, you know, passed by. From a historical perspective, it's very interesting to see again maybe where the film space was back then. But just to walk back there, you know, to that time in history, that feels more closely tied to me, even though I'm such a weird person sometimes. But it's like, you know, just the way I look at things. I don't know. I feel like I belong more there. Man, I have too much time on my hands to think through things. I'm hearing this like I'm saying like I feel like I sound psychotic at the moment. But, you know, it's just, I don't know. It's how I feel. Just, I don't mesh with the world as it exists completely today. For, you know, a variety of different reasons. But even with, you know, my interests in looking at films and stuff, I mean, there's obviously plenty of good content in the modern age. But still, it's just kind of like, you know, the classics, I feel more drawn to those. As probably many people do. I don't know. It's a weird phenomenon with me. But, you know, like I said, I'm not exposed myself to as many Agatha Christie mysteries as probably many people are. But I have seen a couple of her adaptations. And I've certainly covered a lot more on this channel. And I'm very, you know, pleased by what I see. I'm definitely a mystery type guy person. But I'm interested by the prospect of seeing short stories adapted again from an older time period. And how well, you know, do they stand up to today, I guess. But is that a question? Do they need to stand up to today, or can they stand by themselves? Again, maybe the classic, you know, time period was more fulfilling in many different ways. What are your guys' thoughts with this new, or I guess new or old, depending on how you look at it? You know, because now it's been distributed from Acorn TV. How do you guys feel about the Agatha Christie Hour? Sounds interesting, right? 10 different short stories adapted, hour-long adventures into different mysteries with different characters, I guess. Maybe they're tied together in some different capacities. I have no idea, but I would imagine that maybe they're all distinct from one another. Maybe there's some overlap. I have no idea. Let me know down below what you guys think about it, but it looks interesting. Don't forget all that stuff for liking, subscribing, and sharing that bell until we get to watch more from, I guess, maybe Acorn TV in the future, or whatever, you know, trailer we get to watch here next for the first time. I will see you guys then, but for now, thanks for watching this video. I love you guys. Love yourselves, your fellow man. God bless, and peace.